Hello, my name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath, and for my divine feminines, let's get into it. Y'all know when I get a channeling, middle of the night, in the middle of the morning, I'm up here for it with you. And one of the things that I noticed in my theming with my clients in the last week, especially as we were wrapping up Venus retrograde and just kind of working on purging toxicity of our exes or feeling nostalgic or whatever the case may be. And for any of you guys out there feeling nostalgic, I promise you that point will pass where you will look back on that ex and be like, I don't even know why. You might laugh at yourself. You might be embarrassed. If you guys know what that meme is, that TikTok, I am embarrassed. I am literally embarrassed. So here's the thing. A lot of people that were dealing with those exes, they may have postured or played mind games or and if you're in the tarot community, they'll say it was spell work, quote unquote. But all spell work is someone just putting negative thoughts your way. There is real spell work, so I'm not going to diminish that. But what I'm going to say is one spell is cast during sex. Sex is our most powerful spell and our most powerful connection. And even in my own interactions throughout my life, I'm very careful. Sexual energy needs to be expressed. It will come up and out of you. All puns intended. It needs to be expressed in order for you to stay balanced. It's part of a healthy life, like going outside for a walk, getting some sun, grounding, eating a great smoothie or drinking a great smoothie, eating a great, colorful, balanced meal, having a few vegetarian things, if not vegan things, added to your life. This is all part of a balanced life. Meditation, sound meditation, aromatherapy, massage, touch. We all need these things in order to stay in balance. Well, sex, let me tell y'all, is a huge part of it. But what I've noticed is with my clients and in my own personal journey that sometimes we can get attached to someone sexually and then think that it is worth giving up our pride, our dignity, our self respect because of one or two or maybe a million fantastic sexual encounters that we've had. And the last week, as a lot of my clients were purging a lot of that Venus retrograde energy, this came up over and over and over again. And literally, my angels woke me up out of my sleep to talk about it with you. They said, please stop selling yourself short for what the old karmic partner did or didn't do. And that's something, message, let's talk about it. A lot of you guys were in connections, myself included, where we may have had one or two moments that were good or felt like there was a good sexual chemistry. But honestly, that person wasn't doing really what they needed to do to be the best they could be as a lover in any capacity. Okay? I once dealt with somebody who was, who prided themselves on being the Don Juan of the life in the town, but they weren't even comfortable with the word lover. I want you to understand that, okay? Now, everybody has words that are cringe words for them for whatever reasons, but I want you to get the psychology of that. How could I have been seeking to be loved by someone who couldn't even be comfortable with a word that had it as its base etymology? Do you get it? Someone who couldn't even say that because there was no love in them for me and there was no love in them for themselves. What that means is that a lot of us will sell ourselves for less because maybe we have fantastic sexual energy, and my sweet empaths, a lot of us do. We're really, really good at connecting that way, but it's been sometimes sullied or broken by abuse or trauma from our past. So we get into these relationships and we try to make them last with people that may have had some sexual connection with us, but when you get with your real sexual connection, for anybody that's popped in now, the title isn't what it's going to be fully because I only have so much room until I get it uploaded. But when you have a real sexual connection with someone, it is something that will explode your heart and it will be rainbows and butterflies, quite literally, what I could fit into the title. It will be so incredible. And I don't think that you should share your sexual energy with just everybody. Meaning, even when I have needed to outsource sexual connection, I have still been very circumspect about how I manage that because I was waiting for my person. Does that make sense? I was waiting for the right connection for me in certain situations. And I even knew that people that thought that they were the right connection for me or thought that we had great chemistry, and maybe on some level we did, I knew that they were never going to fulfill me because until you meet somebody that's accessed their internal divine feminine and divine masculine, they've balanced themselves. It doesn't mean they have to give up any part of themselves. If you guys have been listening to, and there's only a handful of you, and God bless you for doing it, the divine or the intimate communion book that I've been working through and reading with you guys over the last few weeks, you will realize that we operate out of masculine and feminine energy. Everybody, there is a duality in us. I don't care how much you curl your hair or flat iron it or how much you lift iron, and and you are both skied up, we all are masculine and feminine. And you are having the best sexual connection with someone who has that balance within. Someone who's not comfortable with the word lover is not balanced. They are going to be uh, uh, almost overactive in a certain area of their life regarding sexual energy, which means that it's not going to be balanced. They might fancy themselves to be fantastic, but they don't do connection, and they're not bringing you to orgasm. They're not satisfactory. My angels really allowed me to see that in my dismount in several years ago in my life with somebody that I was like, why did I always think this was so magical? This is shit. It wasn't it when I really got perspective on it, and I had evolved and done my own growth. When I was in a lower vibrational energy, when I was drugged up or drunked up or or inebriated in whatever capacity, maybe it was magical to me. But I realized that on their own and sober, that was never going to be a connection that was going to fulfill me in any capacity. Like they literally could not even touch or scratch the surface of what would satisfy me, because I enjoy a certain level of intimacy that they were actually defunct and devoid of. A lot of you guys are in connections that way too, and are you're pedestalizing and idolizing someone that's not really brought satisfaction to you. Okay, and it's so funny. This has come up recently just as a funny thing in life, but pillow princess, right? And that's something you guys know my life. I always share very candidly that I was used to in college, right? So dealing with pillow princesses, and pillow princesses, if you want to, literally the denotation comes from the LGBTQIA, but it's about someone who's like, I'm really a magical as I lay on this pillow, and you can service me and I will somewhat be reciprocal, maybe. A lot of you guys, even for you guys dealing with masculine or male energy, phallic penis energy, we're dealing with pillow princesses. And you are making it out to be this great thing, because empaths, we are great lovers because we figure out exactly what we need and how to satisfy someone else. And a lot of us derive great satisfaction by satisfying other people. But when you reflect back on it, whether it was a man or a woman, were they a pillow princess? Now, that's okay if that's your thing, because sometimes that can be a thing you're into, and it's okay. If you love someone, then you can let them do what they want to do. But a lot of us stay anchored in these karmic toxic relationships and keep being like, well, the chemistry, I just never had it, and da 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 da. I want you to distance yourself for a while and be away from that relationship, and I promise you, you will, in retrospect, in reflection, what is that? What does it say in the mirror? Things in the mirror may seem closer than they appear, or whatever it says. Listen, it's not as good as you think. And what I had out of several relationships in my life, time to reflect, and then move into other relationships, I realized like, oh, oh, I'm energetically more fulfilled, emotionally more fulfilled, more titillated. I was more titillated before there was ever copulation. I was like, oh my God, this is magic. Because when you're actually in alignment with someone who is your person and who actually gets you, you actually feel like, wow. You're my for real boo. I didn't realize that it could be this good, and I don't know why I thought that was good. It's a very interesting thing. And if you haven't got there yet, then trust me, step out on faith. Sometimes the universe will test you, your angels will test you, your ancestors will test you, and they will say, we're going to put what seems like a really good sexual chemistry connection in your face, and it might be done to do one of several things. For my empaths that are on an ascension journey, it may be there to take you off your path and distract you. I certainly have had sexual connections like that that were distractions for years. I'm not talking about a couple of 3 weeks, for years, only to discover that they were not actually good in bed. Y'all, when I say hashtag disappointed, that I have wasted years like fantasizing and making this some magical thing, only to discover that it was terrible, like in every language. And you know why it was terrible in every language? And that's not to say to whomever that they were sleeping with in the rest of their life that they might not have been just right, right? Like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It is to say that with someone who had done their work, me, and like you guys, that I no longer cared, and they no longer could even begin to satisfy me. And I don't just mean orgasmically, I mean energetically. But then let's talk about the orgasmically part, right? Because we're not having sex with someone that we don't want to derive some level of satisfaction from. People that have not done their emotional work are selfish lovers. right? And we usually overcompensate and we become not just not selfish lovers, we become the lovers that they can't forget for the rest of their lives because we do things energetically that nurture and water and replenish them. And it's not just on the surface level, and it's not just about nerve endings and frottage, right? It's about actual emotional deep connection. It's about being seen, heard, and respected. And for a F boy or F girl, that's not what they want in their world. They want frottage, meaning rubbing together. They want friction. They want explosion, and they want a happy ending, and then they want to bounce on to the next one. They want to go on to the next one, and that's okay for their life. Empath, divine feminine. That's not how we love, and that's not how we thrive, and that's not how you'll be titillated. That's not how Kundalini rises. That's not how you tap into tantric sex. Sex starts in our mind. I find that the people that I'm attracted to the most are smart. Uh, Even people that it's been a sexual connection with, purely sexual, they're intelligent and they're funny. I am a sapiosexual, right? So I want you guys to understand that you are sapiosexuals too. I'm not just putting it on you. My sweet empaths, we literally love the mind. We spend hours figuring out things and people and ourselves, and that means that that will carry over to your sexual connection as well. But a lot of us anchor ourselves to karmic, sexual, toxic, corrosive exes because we're like, oh, who's going to do it bestest? Somebody else. I promise you. Please take my word here. If you've not been able to manifest that yet into your life, someone else will not only F you right, not only love you right, not only embrace you right, they will do you right in every way, in a way that you cannot even imagine. I actually feel sorry for people that are having mediocre, subpar, non connected sexual energy because, again, it all starts in the mind. When you find someone you really connect to, then there you guys are going to blow each other's mind. Rainbows and butterflies, quite literally, and you will never understand why you wasted so much time thinking that someone else was mighty fine. Maybe they were attractive. Maybe they were not even as attractive as you thought. It's funny how when you take off the rose-colored glasses to those karmic situations, you realize that you might have been delirious and under the spell of love. That's what they mean by a love spell. Yes, they are real things that people sell, but what it means is that energetically, when you start sharing and swapping fluids with people, I'm very conscientious of that, even in casual sexual connections or intimate, deep ones. Are we kissing? Are we sharing fluids? People think that that's like a joke, and that's why everybody's so screwed up. And they're like, "Oh, I got feelings. I have trust issues." Yes, because it's alchemy. It's magic that we create when we put our bodies together. It doesn't matter of what sexual dynamic or component, whether it's male to female to female, or male to male. You will be attached energetically. I come from a background of Christianity, and there are etheric cords. And in the metaphysical world, those cords carry over still. And in every religion and spiritual practice, there are thought to be cords between humans. So that's your soulmate. That could be platonic, or it could be your sexual mate. When it's sexual, though, what you are doing is attached to someone's energy. And that's why so many of us have schism thoughts and insanity, because we are not made empath and divine feminine. I don't care what you think about it. I respect your autonomy. I respect your agency with your body. You can sleep with whoever you want to, but even casual connections must be very carefully crafted. And that's something that I learned in my life, and it's something that I do. I do not deal energetically with people completely unless I actually want to give my full life and connect to them, because I'm very aware how attachments form. I'm hyper cognizant of that. I'm very aware of how sharing those fluids is literally a magic act that you're creating. Now, a lot of us will go off of what our nether regions and loins are dictating. I'm so attracted. They're so hot. I can't stop fantasizing. They have a fat ass, this or that, whatever your attraction level is. His pecs are amazing. He's tall as shit. Whatever your thing is, you start getting into your head about that. And that's how we are designed. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, right? That's what the Bible says. So, yes, we are designed to think that way and to be attracted and to start to rev up our engines and to be like, I really love this thing about them. But the thing about it is that once we get together and then we're like, okay, I want to connect, you have to think about the connection. And a lot of you guys are still connected to past lovers, and I highly suggest some cord cutting or some salt. I have a video up here about that. That sea salt, preferably, or rock salt if it's a specifically toxic connection. Rock salt is highly, highly, highly recommended. But what I will tell you about that is that you have to break those connections from those exes and from those etheric cores being attached to you, because you can't move on to your true love or to your real boo until you really have disconnected from that. And a lot of us hold ourselves back with what we thought in our mind was quite fine and quite grand. And the truth of the matter is, it wasn't even that great. And when you get into a connection that is good, I can't even tell you how good it can be, how much you can actually be free and share your sexual energy. And these people think that they may have whatever that's magical, or other people are gassing up their head, but it's other lower vibrational people that have never had good head, that have never been really good in bed or had someone be good in bed. So they get a little taste of a little bit of something and they think, oh my God, this is it. And I've watched a lot of people ruin their life for it, and you have to be so careful. Literally throw away the keys to their kingdom, literally throw away an actual good connection, throw away an actual good husband or an actual good wife or an actual good girlfriend or boyfriend for an afternoon delight because they got addicted. Because we will get addicted to things that are good sexually, right? We will get addicted to creating that magic and alchemy of sharing our fluids and our body. That is a spell. You're bonding to someone. So that's why that is a real thing. Even if you are instantaneously attracted, and who hasn't been, you must ask, is this going to get me off my path? Will I be now attached to their karmic energy? And the answer is yes. That's why I say you have to not anchor yourself or disconnect as best you can from that karmic past, because the truth is we take on other people's karma too through those sexual acts. So if you weren't able to raise your vibration or your credit score or get the job you wanted or move to the new house or get the new vehicle, the material world very much is involved in those sexual acts. How, you may say, Monette? That seems crazy. It is because we are connected. Energy is shared. And when we're actually sharing our energy and our bodies with someone, we could stay stagnant where they are at, or we could take on whatever toxic things are in their life, whether it be things that don't feel right. I've watched people and counseled people for years that have gone through this and didn't connect the dots until they were halfway through it or whatever. And that happens. Sometimes we have that, we have to take the L, as I say, take the loss. And the loss, we turn it into gains. And empath and divine feminine, we transmute that energy by elevating the lesson so that we don't repeat it again. So, yeah, we all have taken a couple L's. What does Aaron Neville say? Everybody plays a fool. But there's another quote that one day you will be put in the position that someone once had you in, just so that you can understand the fullness of that thing. If you are connected to someone who has a low vibration, it will ruin your life. So that's why sexual, casual sex and energy is to be taken very seriously. And again, I cannot stress how much, even in my own life, when I have needed connection or needed nurturing in some kind of way, I was so curated about the way I brought that about into my life until I was ready to really be with somebody that I felt like I could trust and share my energy with, and then have the kind of sex, mind blowing, that I really wanted to have, or have the kind of connection. But it all started with the mind, quite literally. It started with communication, it started with trust, and it took time. Good things come to those who wait. I remember in the beginning of dating my husband being impetuous and childish. He is older than me. And I remember him saying to me, like, it's slow down, girl. We got plenty of time. And I was in the hookup culture frame of mind. You guys, I've never filled you out with some innocent, because I'm not. And I love sex. So I literally was like, what's the probs? Like, we have fantastic chemistry. What's really going on here with you, homie? And what was going on with him is he was vetting me. He knew he liked me. He knew that we were probably going to end up married. He already had decided some things, and I was being a little bit childish, if I may tell the truth on myself. And he taught me such a powerful lesson with his Capricorn energy, which was to slow down and to take a little time to enjoy the view. And it wasn't just all about what that mouth do, because we were figuring out what that mouth did, and we both were very pleased. But what I will tell you is that it was more than about being on each other's knees. It was about learning to actually be in connection. And want you to transfer that to you. Have you been impatient and wanted something immediately with a new boo? And like, why aren't we effing yet? Where is this amazing sex, the chemistry, and the sapiosexual energy, and the trust is building? And I really enjoy you. Why haven't we got to the afternoon delight? Well, because Divine Feminine, once you do your work, your angels will make sure, your ancestors will ensure, all of the galactic forces will come in to make sure that you do it right. Because we know what happens when you do it impetuously. You get connected to somebody who is a lower vibrational energy, and then you get stuck. I have watched tragic energies or tragic things happen with people that have let their life be run amok because their loins said, "Oh my God, the ass is fat. I must have that." Then they end up with this girl or a guy, if the depending, maybe the pecs are fat. I don't know, but they end up with this person who literally drags them down to the depths of themselves and gets them addled in all addictions and neglectful energy, and it spreads out like a poison, like an STD, to all parts of their life. That's a spiritually transmitted disease. We all talk about that. We all know our statistics with actual STIs and STDs, but what I will tell you is that the one to worry about, y'all, the one you can't get rid of, the one there is no medicine for, is the spiritual STD. I've seen people ruin their life for just lust and not realizing that they had created a bond and they had gotten married, whether they thought they got married or not. They literally married someone's energy, because it's not all about the paperwork and the government being involved. Sex is a commitment. If you guys remember the movie Vanilla Sky, there is a place where Cameron Diaz is talking to Tom Cruise in the movie. I don't remember their names of the movie. And she drives them off a bridge because she's lost her mind. And it connects to the meme that we're seeing on TikTok today. Why are you being weird to me? It connects to that meme. And what that means is that when someone's having sex with you and they're talking all that good ish in your ear, and they're doing it because it's what we all do. And if a good sexual partner will know how to have some good, dirty, sexy talk with you. But when that's happening, they're making all these promises. How many of us have been in the throes of a good sexual connection that says something wild and talked about and betrothed our body parts to someone? This poom poom is yours, or whatever the case may be. These are spells, guys. That's sharing sexual and sacral energy, and it's a spell. And you may think nothing of it in the moment. It was what edged you right to orgasm, and it was fantastic. But that's a commitment, y'all. Hello, that's a commitment. People don't realize that, and they think it's a joke. They're like, no, it was just something I'm saying. And in our Netflix and chill hookup culture, you have to be so careful about the things that you're saying, but forget about what you're saying. If you're mixing that with actual fluids, with actual exchanges of energy, you are now betrothed to possibly someone who's absolutely crazy. And that's why divine feminines and empaths, we fall in love with F boys and F girls who had nothing to give us and who actually probably weren't even that good in bed, but because we got into our head, because sex for us starts there, we now have given them so much power and made them into some like He-Man, She-Ra person of sexual prowess, when they were actually terrible, when they were actually immature, when they were actually not well experienced, when they were actually not good for a soul, and they weren't pure. You don't have to be pure to have sex. A little good dirty sex is good and healthy for all of us. A little bit of real connection and losing yourself with someone is beautiful. I highly advise that you strive for that. But when you are connected to that karmic person, it's not that. It's not beautiful. It's not raising your vibration. It's depleting. And then a lot of us get quote unquote married to these toxic, non-committal situations, and then we spend years trying to figure out, oh my God, why is this breaking my heart? How come I just can't get them out of my head, and all that stuff. I highly recommend, if you can't get them out of your head, or you think you never will be able to, I highly recommend that you stop sleeping with them, and then you will. It was an experiment that I did on myself, actually, where I stopped sleeping with someone who was a karmic partner for me, and I stopped engaging in activities with her. Our attraction was still there, the chemistry was still palpable. I knew what we were capable of because I know what kind of lover I am and what I had taught her and brought to her energetically. But what I also knew is that she used that sexual energy to get the best of me and to laud herself above me and to step on me and to make herself better than me in every way, because she felt like, you must be some slave for my sex. And my angels directed me, and I guys have talked about this, and they said, stop sleeping with her, Stop giving her any power over you. I thought, what do you mean? I'm not giving her power over me. And they said, oh, really? Let's show you. So when I took that away, she lost her rabbit ass mind and actually went insane and started sabotaging not only our connection, but other parts of her life, because that's all she had to offer. A lot of people in your lives will only have that to offer, and they dress it up and package it as though it is some other thing. She was a smooth talker. She was a word magician, if you will. She was a con artist and a manipulator. So she had a whole shill. But if she could get you in bed, then she could stay in your head and she could fuck with you. I decided, let me pull away the fucking two and let's see if the magic's there. And it wasn't. Boo. It wasn't there at all. I found it to be all rather immature, and I was embarrassed. I said, how has she been acting like a king of wands when she's really just a pillow princess? And again, nothing wrong with being a pillow princess, but good sex is reciprocal always, right? Sometimes that may be something you're up for, and even in your partnerships with your husband or wives, you will notice, or your boyfriends or girlfriends, that one of you guys may be more the aggressor some days and not another. It always is changing, right? And I recommend highly that it does, because your husband wants to be flirted with too. He wants to know that you can't keep your hands off of him. Your wife wants to be flirted with too, but also the other things have to be in alignment. I also counsel and work with people that don't want to sleep with their spouses because they're not having an emotional need met. So they don't feel the need to physically, sexually create a spell and share energy and connect. Pay attention to that. Back to the karmic partner that can ruin your life because sex is what you think you want. That can happen in a lot of ways. We've all seen that cliched after school movie of like, I slept with that person and then I got an STD and it ruined me. That's one way. But I want you to think higher than that. That's very superficial. And unfortunately, those things happen. And also, guys, that does not make you a bad person, okay? If that happens to you, if someone was irresponsible or whatever the case may be, you're not a bad person, okay? That's not the worst thing that can happen. It's that the spiritual STD is, to me, the worst thing that can happen, because it will infect your life, and it's like a contagion. It spreads throughout your body, and it will affect your children. It will affect your finances. It will affect your vehicles. I know you may think that it seems really incredible. That's why it's like, really vet who you want to share that sexual energy with. Ask yourself, even when I impetuously am attracted to someone and have been, I have waited purposely as I grew up, okay? That's not always how it was. Yeah, I had my horn dog days and hoe days just like anybody else. But what I will tell you is, as I've grown up, I realized that I had to maybe put that desire on the shelf and ask, is it really worth it? Is it worth it? Can you work it? Put your thing down, flip it, and reverse it. I need someone that could work it. I needed that in my life. And I thought, this is no longer worth it for a little afternoon delight, because it brought too much strife and it kept me attached and tethered. Someone that is a good sexual magician, and what I mean by good is not that they're not that they are what's the word I'm looking for, honorable, or that they have any good intentions, but someone that is a good manipulator will literally use that sex to keep you there, knowing that they don't want to give you anything else, and they will use lack of communication and clarity to keep you there. And because you feel like you have some kind of chemistry with them, you can now start doing their bidding, and you start jumping through all these hoops and try to prove your worth to them when they're a piece of shit. And that's the truth, divine feminine. Most of the people that you guys have dealt with, until you started doing your ascension work and elevating, were pieces of shit. They had no good intentions for you. They didn't want to give you clarity. They didn't really want a relationship with you. They wanted to use you and siphon your powerful, sweet, delicious empath energy because you made them feel good. I'm thinking, Neo, you make me better. I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. You make people better, empath. Divine feminine, divine masculine, that's balanced. If you're here listening, you make people better, and they know it. So what they do is they will siphon that energy through you sexually, and then take it, or energetically, and then take it to someone else and be like, ooh, isn't this amazing? And then glam, it's called a glamour spell, essentially, make someone believe that they are better than what they are. But when you're using sexual energy, then that will get them very far in that connection, and then you're depleted. Also, my other message here is that people can do that to you too, meaning that they will use that glamour kind of spell on you, and that's what's usually happening in those karmic relationships. So if you've got that one ex that you're like, I just can't get away from it, I can't break up with him, I need him in my life, I feel codependent, it's so right, he's so right, he puts it down at night, the stroke game is on 10, the D is impeccable. What is that quote from Biggie Smalls? He's got the cleanest, meanest, penis you never seen, this stroke of genius. I love that Biggie Smalls, this guy with a cock eye who was overweight, talked about his sex game, because for him, maybe that was his truth. Obviously, people said his ex was great. He had the cleanest, meanest penis. You never seen this stroke of genius. Well, karmic partners will convince you that they do have that. But what we need is beyond that now, empath. We don't just need the stroke of genius. Yes, everybody needs a good pipe down. Pipe me down, wipe me down. Amen. Everybody needs somebody that's actually like making them feel wonderful. And if it's not a pipe down, it's a frottage, it's a rub out, it's a whatever. There's many beautiful ways that we can engage our sexual energy and raise our sacral chakra vibration associated with the color orange. But it first starts with your yellow chakra, which is self-esteem. Okay, the sun. How do you feel about yourself? Because if you feel good about yourself, you're not going to be in those connections purely off of sexual energy. When empath, we get malnourished and we atrophy if someone is only wanting from us sexual energy or only feeding us sexual energy. Back to the karmic part of this. Do not ruin your life for good sex or what you perceive as good sex, because I guarantee and promise you, just as sure as you're hearing my voice talking to you, that not only will there be better sex that comes into your life, there'll be a fully integrated love making and energy that blows your effing mind. Actually, literally, figuratively, that changes your life and raises your credit score. Y'all, you don't even have to copulate with someone who is of good energy in order for that to happen. But when the copulation does happen, amen, God bless America. It's to infinity and beyond. Okay? Intergalactic intergalactic, the little beastie boys. That's one of the things that you need to understand, is that your karmic ex was just making noise. They were like clanging pots, like toddlers clanging pots. It was much ado about nothing. If you really look back at it, absolutely worthless, absolutely not a good connection. They may have thought you were fantastic sex, because you probably were, but they glamour spelled you and made you think that you were worthless by not giving you value and all the rest of it, and then keeping you anchored while they go propagate the world. You all know how you've had your lives. I know what my clients have told me. I know what I've experienced. And I think it's a rite of passage. I think it's something we all go through. But that doesn't mean that you will not find sexual energy with real boo that is so surpasses anything you've ever had or been through. And again, it starts in the mind. Are you falling in love with someone because they're just good energy, because they're good people, because they're good to talk to? That will define what the sexual connection will be like when you actually consummate it. It will be far greater than anything you ever experienced. Do not hold on to shekels and pennies and bypass millions. And here, the same way it works, flip it and reverse it. When you get with someone who have a lower vibration, who doesn't have their life together or their shit together, you will sleep with them, share that sexual energy, share those fluids, be connected and tethered. If they're sleeping with the rest of the community, they're bringing that energy back to you. Empaths, what do? We transmute energy. But what that will do is get you off your path. You'll spend a lot of time transmuting energy for their fuckery, okay? For people that don't deserve it, that are like absolute gutter snipes and worthless. And then you're like, why isn't my life ascending? It's because you're anchored to all of their lovers, even though that's not the word they would use, but you're anchored to all of their F-ish, and it's not meant for you. It's not meant for you. It's too heavy. If you're in that situation currently, put it down. I promise you, when you look up and look around, you will find a connection that's really right for you, and you will be like, why did I think, who is that, what is their name? You will literally not even understand why you ever thought anything was good about it. And meanwhile, and here's the karma beautiful thing about it. Try this if you really want to affect karma for someone. You don't go after them or anything like that. Just remove your energy and let them reflect. I promise you, you'll be the best lover they ever had. Even if they hate you, even if they despise you, even if they wish death upon you every day, they will be even more angry because they can never have you for real. And they will realize that everybody else was play. That is real karma. Just let them just sit in that and go play with everybody else that they wanted to play with. And stop letting them use you to make them feel like they're so amazing, because you make people feel amazing, empath. We raise people's vibration, empath. And if you haven't disconnected from that karmic partner, go watch the salt video and just get it done. The clarity that will come is astounding. Even if you're not doing it just to get another partner, it is a byproduct of you growing. On the flip side, when you connect to the partner that's right, that's done their own work, that shows up whole, that actually is loving and present and nourishes you, you will raise your vibration in other ways too. I have had platonic connections that have raised my vibration, where I thought that I had platonic connections in my life that were wonderful, and they were actually karmic and they were depleting. And platonic connections, y'all, just raise my vibration, raise my life, raise my credit, everything changed. Because when we are around people that are ascending, we will do the same. And when we're around people that are descending, we will do the same. And they will be like, how come nothing in my life is working right? How come I can't get this? And they might be living a magical, shiny life. It's because they're stealing energy from you. But if you add sex into that, then got them, they got you. But all you got is $1. You know that commercial, the insurance commercial? I got $1. That's what your karmic partner is doing with you. They're dangling $1 because they're worth not much in front of you and acting like you need to chase it and run after it. They triangulate you. They make you think you need to be in competition. It's $1, homie. They're not worth a thing. There's millions waiting for you. There's millions in escrow for you energetically. There's a partner who's going to value you and see you and not jump into bed with you right away and like make you wait. Good things come to those who wait. I love the way. It's sexy. It's sexy to not be in a chasing runner dynamic energy where both people are mutually interested and it's super clear and it's made clear and they want to be. Now, if this is a platonic friendship for you, the same is true. It's nice to be in connection with someone who actually loves you, that you're not having to be in competition with, and they actually see your value right away and they don't have to know about it after they've caused hell in your life and it's a sad day for them and now they're like, oh, she's the only person who treated me right. F that. Leave them to those reflections. Sometimes we're lessons for people, just like they're lessons for us. We always forget that because we get on the side that's tough first, right, empath? We always go first with the lesson. It seems really hard, but then when you remove your energy, especially if it's sexually, they will be the ones who are in remorse and reflecting because they miss your sweet empath. And they will never have that replicated because usually we are earth angels that show up in people's life, even if it's sexual connections. We're there to teach them a lesson about how to be a better person or how to act right. And if they don't get it, then they will only be doomed and destined for those same karmic situations that they were to you. Meaning people that don't really love them, people that don't actually follow through, people that are playing mind games with them, people that are not really that good in bed, but who kind of mess with their head initially. And then they're stuck in that swirling spiral down to insanity. But you are free and on to probably the best sex of your life, the best partnerships of your life, the best connections of your life, better credit scores, more money, job opportunities, entrepreneurship, whatever's your jam. Maybe you're manifesting a baby. Maybe you manifested a farm. Maybe you wanted to have chickens. You wanted a homestead and you wanted to be a prepper. All the things that were held away from you. You want to play Bitcoin too. Maybe you were in the stock markets. Maybe you wanted to learn how to knit. All the things that were held back from you because you were connected to a karmic who didn't believe in you, who didn't value you, who didn't edify you. I surround myself with people now who believe in me completely. And even if it's about sexual energy, I'm vetting carefully because is it worth it to connect with somebody casually just to get off and have a need fulfilled? It's not. Be very, very careful who you give that to. But first and foremost, connect with healthy people and disconnect from the crazy karmic that was next to you, because I promise you, you'll have such clarity and you will actually grow. And that is what my angel said you needed to know. I love you so much, guys. Thank you for joining me. Morning, Masinius. I love when you join the live. You are such a sweetheart. Masinius says, morning, pleasure joining the live. In fact, it is a pleasure to have you. I may do another one. I have one that I've been downloading called Autodidacts. Are you with me? It's about being self-taught as an empath through the school of hard knocks, because autodidact means to be self-taught. Anyway, guys, I will come back and jump on with that. Since I said it, I have to put it out into the ether. Good morning, good morning, good morning. For anybody that's here early, it is time to rise and shine. And if it is not morning, I still hope you're feeling fine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wake up wherever you are. You deserve someone filling your cup that is going to be in your life to take you far, and that you guys play off each other's beautiful empath energy, and you both are givers. It's the best it can be. It literally doesn't get better. That's balanced energy, and it's nice to be in sunny weather. I love you guys. Come back and join me next time, and we'll continue to evolve together.